Hello traders, the title of the video is revealing in a nutshell a step-by-step practical Elliott wave forecast using a fractal. Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to do something that we have done in a classroom before. You remember when you were studying before, you were in a classroom and your teacher will present you with one topic and you want to accumulate the knowledge of practical Elliott wave forecast using fractals. All right, so this is what we are about to do today, and I have 7 specific steps that I want to show you that you need to follow. 7 specific steps that you need to follow to accomplish a practical Elliott wave forecast using fractals. For traders that are very new to us, recently I have started this series of videos about how to combine the Elliott wave principle with the predictive fractal pattern of Benoit Mandelbrot. Right? Because an Elliott wave trader is very important for us to understand that the Elliott wave patterns are fractals pattern. Not fractal like normal fractal, but fractal as predictive fractal pattern. All right? So in a nutshell, the first thing that one can do, to start the practical Elliott wave forecast using fractal is to check whether a market cycle is completed first, or a trend is completed first, or a pattern is completed first. Now, let me explain myself. So usually, before a trend will begin, out of nowhere after the big bang, if a trend is about to begin, you will start seeing it first on the lower time frame, yes or no? On the 1 minute time frame, then you will see on the 3 minute time frame, then you see on the 5 minute time frame, usually. So you have a price going now from one support level to a resistance level, alright? So it's a trend. So the price going to a target level is the resistance level, but you will start first at a support level. But that trend, as the trend is starting, those who are on the 1 minute time frame will see that it start going now. They will start scalping on their 1 minute time frame, on the 2 minute time frame, on the 3 minute time frame, on the 5 minute time frame. The lower time frame, people will see it first. So talking about the first stage, practical Elliott wave forecast using fractals, without too much blah 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 from my side. Look for the multi-way, look for the Elliott wave cycle, look for Elliott wave patterns that are formed first. Right? You need to understand carefully. Saying first does not always mean that it will be on a lower time frame. So you may see a pattern that is formed first on the daily chart. You may not see it on the 3 minute time frame, you may not see it on the 10 minute time frame, but it's only on the daily time frame that we see it for the first time. Alright? But generally speaking, in theory, when the trend is beginning, talking about the Elliott wave multi-wave, Elliott wave cycle, the cycle will begin first from the lower time frame. So for instance, I do not use the 1 minute time frame. I prefer to use 3 minute time frame. So you may see first that a trend, a multi-wave is completed on the 3 minute time frame, or an Elliott wave cycle is completed on the 5 minute time frame, or on the 15 minute time frame, or on the 30 minute time frame. You want to take a picture of it as we discussed before. So this is about identifying first, alright, trend, Elliott wave multi-wave, Elliott wave cycle, Elliott wave pattern that are formed first. So you recognize it for the first time. Where? Is it on the 3 minute time frame? Is it on the 5 minute time frame? Is it on the 10 minute time frame? Is it on the daily chart? For the first time, it did not happen anywhere else. You discover it is a new blueprint, a new pattern. But we are not talking about new. We are talking about multi-wave, cycle, or any of the Elliott wave pattern. So that's the first thing you are looking for. Okay? The second thing that we want to look for, so I talked about it already, is the pattern. So it may not be an Elliott wave pattern as such. So This is the second one. It may be just a pattern, a funny pattern. So I don't want to dwell on it. If you want to know more, you want to go to Day Pro Traders YouTube channel and check our video like taking the baby first step of predictive fractal pattern trading, or a video that we title Baby Pips Fractal Trader is introducing a predictive fractal pattern trading strategy, or a video that we call, a very important video that we call Fractals, revealing the horizontal financial market forecast that uses the predictive fractal pattern. All right, and the last one that I recorded today, Fractals Trading, Mastering the Parallel Market Prediction that relies on fractal pattern. All right, so a pattern may not be an Elliott wave pattern, may not be a multi-wave, may not be an Elliott wave cycle. It's form fast. All right, so those are the second thing that you need to pay attention to. The pattern, nothing to do with Elliott wave, but its form is a pattern. Can be a funny pattern that no one knows about before. Can be something like this: price go down, okay, and then rally up fast, okay, almost to the 78.6% level, and then come down a bit like this before going up. So this is a pattern. Goes down, go to 78% level, and then pull back like this. So that pattern, you may see it. The copy itself on various time frame. So it's not an Elliott wave multi-wave, it's not an Elliott wave cycle, it's nothing to do with Elliott wave, but it's just a pattern that we see, we recognize. It's a distinctive pattern that we see on one particular time frame, and now we take note of it, we take a picture of it, we hold it, and we want to see if it's happening somewhere else, and we can use that to focus the market. The 13 in a nutshell, if one wants to use a practical Elliott wave forecast with the fractals, okay, the 13 is one we look for either Elliott wave multi-wave, Elliott wave cycle, Elliott wave patterns, or ordinary patterns like this one I'm showing you here that are dominant. Or you may say, Joe, you are using difficult way. What do you mean by dominant? All right, so what we are calling dominant trend, dominant multi-wave, dominant Elliott wave pattern, dominant Elliott wave cycle are those ones that are formed fast on a higher time frame. They are dominant. So you see on a yearly chart, a specific pattern that is formed fast is a dominant pattern. But the only time that we will see that that pattern becomes a dominant pattern is when that pattern that is on a higher time frame, like quarterly chart, yearly chart, is start imposing itself on a lower time frame. So the pattern is formed fast on a higher time frame. This is what I was talking about earlier on, the broader viewpoint. Elliott wave forecast, you understand that? So the pattern is formed first on a higher time frame. Okay, it's established. And now it's like it's imposing itself, it's breaking itself in exact structure on a lower time frame. So that pattern that you see on the yearly chart, that we are seeing on the 5-minute time frame, that's happening. And then you see again on the hourly time, you see, yeah, the same pattern on the daily chart, on the yearly chart, that's the pattern that is we are playing today on the hourly time frame. All right, and then again, you see, all right, the same pattern that we are seeing on the daily chart today. The same pattern now is underway on the weekly chart, but it has already been in place, all right, on the yearly chart. But no one is paying attention to it. But because it's a dominant pattern, now we are seeing all over the place. So the third step, look for Elliott wave multi-wave or trend, Elliott wave cycle, Elliott wave patterns, or normal pattern that are dominant, which means they are formed fast on a higher time frame. Now they are copying themselves and pasting themselves on a lower time frame, at a lower level. So this is about a pattern that is now dominant, is dominating, okay, a lower time frame. Yes, all right? So that's the third thing, dominant market pattern. Remember that, note it down, because I'm going to use another word soon. The fourth step is to look for trend, Elliott wave, multi-wave, Elliott wave trend, Elliott wave cycle, Elliott wave patterns, a normal pattern like this one, all right, that are expanding. So we use the word dominant, which means from the higher time frame is established for the first time, now it's dominating the lower time frame, all right? That's dominant. Now, pattern or Elliott wave trend, Elliott wave cycle, Elliott wave pattern, normal pattern that are expanding are patterns that are formed on a specific time frame. So it's formed on X time frame, but what it's going to do is going to move on to the next higher time frame. And then from there, again, it will go to another higher time frame. That is an expanding pattern, but it's formed at early stage on one time frame, right here. But then it moves itself higher. That's what is expanding. All right? From the lower to the highest. Now, the reason why I'm using my word carefully here, because you may see a pattern, for instance, on the weekly chart. So that's why I don't want to use the word lower time frame. That's why I don't want to use that. That expanding pattern can start from the weekly chart. It does not have to be 5 minutes, like we say at the beginning, at the first stage. Like I said to you, you may see on the 3-minute 5. No, it may start even from the weekly chart. But then what you will do, you go, now you expand itself maybe straight away on the quarterly chart, or even straight away to the yearly chart. This is an expanding pattern. All right? It's a little bit different than the dominant pattern that is formed on the highest time frame. Now it's breaking itself down on the lower time frame. In a nutshell, let me say yes or no. So it shouldn't be long, isn't it? All right. Let's move on to the next step. The next thing that you want to look for, if you want to, take the correct step of a practical Elliott wave forecast that uses fractals. All right. You are looking for price structures that are scaling themselves on the same time frame, but at different levels. Did you get that? You understood it clearly, all right? You are a very bright person. Now, I'm looking for one, yes. If you want to understand what I just said, I'll recommend that you watch the video that we title Fractals, revealing the horizontal financial market forecast that uses predictive fractals at Day Pro Traders YouTube channel. And then you understand what I meant by that at the fifth level. Structures that are scaling themselves, all right, on the same time frame at different levels. All right. Hold on a second. Hopefully I'll see it now. Okay. Going to go to the monthly chart, and I will explain what I just said to you now. Okay. So you can see very fast. All right. You see, price went up here. I explained it last time in that video, and then it came down. It break below a trend line, the bullish trend line. Retest it. It came down 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Up 1, 2, 3. Retest and come down. The price, this is what we call, this is what I'm talking about here. On the same time frame, that pattern of breaking below retest 1, 2, 3 is copying itself at a different level. Here again, you can see it went 1, 2, 3. This is a bit smaller. If you pay attention carefully, it went up all the way here. It break below the trend line. 1, 2, 3. Now here again, it went out and it went out 1, 2, 3. All right, this is the part I'm talking about. Now, okay, are you getting it now? Okay, it went out again 1, 2, 3. Now, this is the pattern that is scaling itself on the same time frame, but at a different level. So it's projecting itself on the same time frame, but at a different level. In a nutshell, we don't want to dwell on it too long. So what we are trying to do is to give to traders what they need to look for, so they may start equipping themselves. Okay, they may start building those skills that they need. Okay, so they may be able to take the correct step of a practical Elliott wave forecast. Okay, that combines Elliott wave principle and a predictive fractal pattern. the 6 things that one need to pay attention to. All right. So we are talking about Elliott wave trend, Elliott wave cycle, Elliott wave pattern. All right. Normal patterns. All right. But patterns, cycle, trends that are propagating themselves in a group, in a sector, or in a financial market. Propagating. Is that correct English? Let me know in the comment section. All right. All right. They are expanding themselves. Okay. They are carefully. This is not expand. We talk already about expanding. I'm choosing my word carefully. Propagating themselves. What do I mean? So the pattern is formed first. All right. So suppose, for instance, where is Symantec? Symantec is here. I'm going to go the early chart, Symantec. Here it is. Hold on, please, traders. I'm under pressure to make it very quick. All right, this is Symantec. All right, you can see that Symantec, we have a trending phase. Now this is a corrective phase. All right, this is a specific pattern. So, trending phase and a correction in the shape of V. So I talked about this earlier on, all right, to the pro traders. So here it is, trend and a V pattern, trend and a V pattern, yes or no, okay? All right, that pattern can propagate itself, all right, in a group, in a sector, all right? That pattern can impose itself to other financial instruments that belong to the same group. So this is what we call propagating itself. So instead of using the word, all right, a dominant pattern that is exposing itself on different time frames, so from the higher time frame to the lowest time frame. This is about dominant pattern that is formed on a higher time frame. Then we see it on the lowest time frame. All right. Or we also talk about expanding time frame, expanding pattern that starts from one time frame, move to the higher time frame. Now we are talking about a pattern that is propagating itself. So Symantec pattern here may propagate itself in this group of next 100 stocks. That pattern we may see on another financial instrument that belong to the same group like Symantec. So we are talking about component of Dow 30, component of NASDAQ 100, component of CAC 40, component of Nikkei 225, okay, component of a sector, all right, and so on, and so on, and so on, all right. So producers of gold, producers of silver, okay, producers of crude oil, all right, those are financial instrument relating to one specific product, okay, retailers, and so on, and so on, all right, telecommunication, stocks, all right. So we may see a specific, okay, predictive factor pattern that will be propagating itself in that sector. In a nutshell, my friend. All right. So you understand, the propagating means that one financial instrument pattern is now being is spreading in a group. So it's propagating itself. All right. I hope I have managed to explain it clearly to you. If not, let me know. If you have any question, put in the comment section. The last bit of this discussion about revealing in a nutshell, step-by-step, practical Elliott wave forecast using fractal. This is what I like to call genetical patterns, trends, cycles that are specific to a financial instrument. So you may say, Joe, you're pushing a bit too far. There's nothing like a gene. Or George, well, where did you get that from? Okay. There's a reason why we use that word, genetical, which means is relating to a specific financial instrument. It's all in the gene of that financial instrument, if you allow us to say that. So a financial instrument, for instance, may have what I like to call genetical trend, genetical motivation, genetical corrective wave, genetical, okay, Elliott wave cycle, all right, that are specific to that financial instrument. So with a bit of, tips and tricks, keeping your eyes wide open, you may notice that a financial instrument may be doing the same thing over and over. This is what I call genetical pattern. It's relating to that financial instrument. He may be doing it for years, all right, for years. The data stock may be repeating the same pattern. You will see it on the 1 minute time frame, you will see it on the daily chart, you will see it on the weekly chart, you will see it on the quarterly chart, you will see on the yearly chart, you will see this year, you will see next year, and it's just repeating that pattern, that structure, all right, that motive wave, that corrective wave. So this is what we call genetical pattern trend cycle. So as an Elliott wave trader, as I explained to you, we are looking for the motive wave, the structure of each wave, the structure of the whole motive wave itself, the structure of each corrective wave, and the structure of the bigger corrective wave. We are using what we call higher degree wave count, lower degree wave count. But for a financial instrument, talking about the 7-step genetical pattern, you may notice that a stock or a currency or a financial instrument may be doing exactly the same thing, may be displaying the same pattern, the same corrective wave, the same trending file. Most of the time, not always, but regularly, frequently, you may see on the hourly time frame, always zigzag or always flat correction, always WSY pattern after a trending file, and you may see that pattern on different time frame, 15-minute time frame, 4-hour time frame, weekly chart, and so on, yearly chart, and that pattern is the same story. What is happening here, what we are talking about, the reason why we can use that word, genetical pattern or trend or Elliott wave cycle, is because it's referring, because the chart does not have a gene, but those who are trading that financial instrument have a gene. So we are referring to the gene of those traders that are trading that financial instrument. They are specialists of gold, they are specialists of crude oil, and they are doing the same thing and over and over and over. And because human being human being will exhibit their habits, and there is a pattern that sometimes without knowing, people are exhibiting a certain pattern. It's like traders that have been following us know that George, very often in January, George does not post video very often. Some traders know it. Some traders know it that in January I do not very often post a video on YouTube. Some traders know that George sometimes will post the channel. Doesn't mean the channel is dead. That George is taking a brief. Okay, he will come back later when you post a video. So it's a pattern, yes or no? It's a pattern, it's not new. So some stock will be doing the same thing, so you want to keep your eyes open. So if you are a specialist, now you trade only, for instance, the Dow Jones Index, day in, day out. You scalp trading, you trade all the variation of Dow Jones all over the place, or you trade the FTSE 100 day in, day out, or you trade the euro dollar, and you trade it every day. You trade it every day. You want to now go back, keep your eyes wide open, dissect it, take picture of it, see if there is a genetical pattern that currency pair, that stock, that future, that commodity has in place for years, that you can yourself identify, and that you can use to forecast the next price move. So this is the end of this tutorial, 7-step trend or cycle that are completed fast on the lower time frame or fast on any time frame, can be daily chart where we see it fast. So this is the first step, all right, for practical Elliott wave forecast using predictive fractal pattern. Next, look for pattern, all right, that are completed by pattern like this that have nothing to do with the Elliott wave, trend, motive wave, and so on. No more pattern that are completed fast. can be on the lower time frame, can be on the higher time frame fast, and use that as your predictive fractal pattern. 13, look for area wave, multi-wave, trend, cycle pattern that are dominant. Dominant means, or normal pattern that are dominant means it forms first on a higher time frame. Now it's imposing itself on various lower time frame. All right. Next thing, 4th step, look for area wave, multi-wave, cycle pattern, normal pattern that are expanding. So it forms first on one time frame, then it moves to a higher time frame. So it can go from the daily chart and move straight away to a monthly chart. Can form first on the weekly chart and move straight away to the quarterly chart. Can form first on the 50-minute time frame, and then we see now forming on the 2-hour time frame. Those are patterns that are expanding into higher levels, higher time frame. Okay. 5th step, look for structures, that are scaling themselves on the same time frame, which I show you already for Symantec. All right, the same pattern, break below, retest and around on the same time frame, monthly chart. It's just doing exactly the same thing. Was it Symantec? Now, okay, that is repeating itself, all right, over and over and over and over and over. That's what we call the horizontal financial market forecast. Is this one here, the tractor supplier. You can see, okay, price goes out 1, 2, 3. It's a scaling itself, same pattern. It went up again 1, 2, 3 at a higher level on the same time frame, but at a higher level again. One move up, 1, 2, 3, just going on and on and on. This is a predictive fractal pattern. So we see that the price doing the same thing. It went up 1, 2, 3, boom, change direction. It went up 1, 2, 3, boom, up 1, 2, 3, boom, and so on. This is a pattern that is scaling itself, all right, on the same time frame, but at different levels. All right. The next thing that we have also mentioned in this tutorial is area wave trend, area wave multi-wave, Elliott cycle, area wave pattern, normal pattern that are propagating themselves. So I explained it to you, propagating, is that correct? We use that in English, let me know. Propagating itself, so which means it's like a broadcasting, all right? They are pattern all over the place in a sector. So there must be a kind of a relationship between the financial instrument that is broadcasting the pattern, all right, and the other. So they must belong to the same sector, the same group, the same indices, all right? And so now that financial instrument is broadcasting or propagating its pattern to other members, other components in that group, all right? So this is about the 6th step that we need to take, all right? So the last step that I was talking about is a genetical pattern, okay, genetical area wave multi-wave, genetical area wave cycle, genetical area wave structures that are specific to a financial instrument. The same financial instrument exhibiting the same pattern. It's like some people, when they are talking, they keep holding their nose all the time. They will tie their nose many times. But you may not know, unconsciously they are talking. After a while, it's like they hold their nose a bit, or they will touch their face, something like that. Right? It's a pattern. So this person is talking all the time, and 1 minute he holds his nose, all right? Another minute you touch his whatever. So this is a genetical pattern. But the chart itself does not have a gene, but those who are trading it have a gene. And what we are seeing and what we are calling genetical pattern is in fact relating to those traders that are we are deducting from them that those are traders, like I show you for this talk, is they are exhibiting, okay, the tool that they are using behind the scene. We can see whether it's an algorithm, whether even if it's an algorithm, trading algorithm that is trading, is exhibiting the gene of that algorithm. All right, flat correction all the time after a multi-wave. That's a good news for us. Or a zigzag pattern after a multi-wave. That's a good news for us. Or stock that never go below the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level for their corrective phase. That's a good thing to know. Those are genetical patterns that we can work with, okay, to improve, okay, our step-by-step practical area wave forecast using a fractal. All right. I hope I have managed, okay, to explain to you this important topic. If not, let me know in the comment section, and I will try to record similar video if you do not understand it. All right, to communicate to you clearer what I'm trying to share with you today. All right. If you have any question, do not hesitate to put in the comment section. I always read the comment, and in due course, I will record another video to answer your specific question. If this video has been truly useful to you, let us know by giving us the thumbs up. If you think that George have nothing to do with you, I hate your video, well, mark it down, all right, and share with us, give us your feedback. That's very important for us. However, if this video has been, you think that it's an amazing tutorial, it's a very important tutorial that can help other traders, do not hesitate to share with your friend on Google Plus, on Twitter, and also on Facebook. By doing so, you are helping us, propagating, our channel on the web, so other people may come and subscribe to our channel. By the way, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, this is the moment. Feel free to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon, so anytime we record a video, you will receive a notification. All right, so you may watch it in your own time. All right. So this is the end of this essential tutorial, revealing in a nutshell a step-by-step practical area wave forecast using fractal. Was it in a nutshell? Well, let us know in the comment section. It's around 30 minutes, so it was in a nutshell. I can push it to 3 hours. No, but we don't want to do that. Happy to meet you all, and speak to you soon.